So what drew me to the course was that I had worked with Rekha, I'd worked with you one-on-one before, following my Sunrise program that I ran for my autistic sons. So I've got two sons who are now 17 and 15. And I didn't know any disabled parents, really. I think from having a disabled child, you then get to know disabled parents. But in my friendship group, none of my friends had disabled children. And I think I found it was really, really isolating, in that when my children were very small, I would meet up with my friends' children. And as they got older, that got more and more difficult to do. And partly it got more and more difficult to do because I was mortally embarrassed, I think, about their needs. Whereas I think my friends would have been much more embracing if I said, like, we can only go to that place. Can we go between these times? Please, can you bring your husband too? Because that would be really handy if it gets a little bit tricky. But I think what generally happened is, like, I isolated myself more and more. And then it got into a bit of a vicious circle of me thinking, well, my friends don't really care because I don't see them as much. So I think the workshop was really, really helpful to talk with other disabled parents, because I think it is such an isolating process having a disabled child, and just finding some modern ground and having people who could like hold your sadness and hold your honesty. I think that was really, really important to me, because I think my coping mechanism was pretending that everything was fine, that I've got this, I'm competent, I can deal with this. And lots of people also tell you that they did with me when my children first got diagnosis, that God can't give you what you can't handle, which made me want to scream from a hill for a long period of time. So being in that workshop and being able to explore the beliefs that were really controlling my behaviours was really, really helpful. And I think one of those beliefs was that I wasn't a good mum, and that having disabled children, for me it's plural, was my fault in some way. And I don't think I really uncovered that belief until I was there in that room with other people. And being able to be vulnerable with people who absolutely understand and were so loving and compassionate was really, really important for me. And I think also that ability to be really honest with yourself and be vulnerable with yourself leads to you being much more vulnerable and honest and compassionate with other people as well. And that's what I really discovered after the course. I had a friend who had a terminal cancer diagnosis, and I think previously, when I went round to see her, I would have been in my own head too much. So she was telling me about her fears for the future and her fears for her own children. And I think old me would be thinking, oh God, that's so awful. I'd feel so sad if I was going to leave my children behind. But I just remembered from the course thinking that, you need to be curious about what she's saying, and you need to put your own feelings aside and just be present in the moment and just ask her questions that's going to help her unpick her true beliefs about the fears and the worries that she was facing. And I think for her in that moment, it was really unusual for her not to be someone who was like a sobbing mess. Because I was able to, and I had a little cry on the way home as I walked home. But in that moment, I was able to ask her the questions that I felt would open for her what her beliefs were and what she would then do about the decision that she made. And that was really, really helpful. So the workshop really helped me to be in the moment with people, to leave judgment aside, and to be really thoughtful about the questions. Oh, sorry, let go of my phone. To be really important about the questions that you ask people in a curious, playful, accepting way, in order for them to unlock their own solutions, because we all have the answers inside of us, but there are so many kind of beliefs and values that kind of get in the way of that.
is such an amazing set of tools that you've learned and used for yourself, Natalie. It's yeah, thank you so much for being so open and sharing how you use them as well. I really, really am very grateful for that. Um, what would you say to a parent thinking about coming on the workshop?
So I think for lots of women, so obviously speaking from the point of view of women and hopefully men too, is that I think self-care is an issue for lots and lots of people. I think it becomes a crucial issue for people who have a disabled child,
Hmm.
uh, because it's hard enough to parent. We're told, aren't we, so many times we need to sacrifice everything for our children. And with disabled children, that pit just can go on forever. So I think the greatest gift you could give to your child would be carving out some time for yourself without your child there, to just put your own oxygen mask on, to use that analogy, because if you aren't taking care of yourself, and I think that's really, really easy to do, if you're not taking care of yourself, then you can't be the parent or the partner or the friend that you want to be anyway. So I would say just give it a go. I don't think you've got anything to lose, and you get a day just to remember who you are. I think that's what's really, really important. I think it's really easy to lose your sense of self. I think it's really to lose your sense of self as a parent anyway. But I think it's really easy to lose your sense of self as a disabled parent, and that that I think it's your first step to empowerment, actually, choosing to go on a course, because you are declaring to yourself that I'm worth spending the money and the time on. So that's what I would say to a parent.
That is amazing. Thank you, Natalie. You've sold me. I'm going to be there. Um, so thank you so much for your time
That's okay.
and sharing everything that you have so authentically.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye bye.